2021 is set to be a huge year for cinema, with many films over the last year being pushed back due to the pandemic, meaning they're all claiming new release dates sometime this year, gifting us with almost too many movies to pick from. Honestly, I don't remember the last time I saw a new movie. Actually, I do. It was Wonder Woman 2 and it was a piece of Now, there isn't a ton of information about some of these movies, so I'll have to be a little vague, so forewarning. These are the top 5 upcoming 2021 horror movies. Let's jump in. Coming in at number 5, we have Candyman. Now, Candyman is perhaps the one movie on our list that we have the most information about, and that's simply because it was set to be released so long ago and got pushed back so many times due to the global pandemic. Directed by Nia DaCosta and co-written by Jordan Peele, Candyman is an upcoming supernatural horror movie and is a direct sequel to the 1992 film of the same name, and the 4th installment in the Candyman film series, which is of course based on Clive Barker's short story The Forbidden. Now, the premise of the movie goes as follows, as released by Universal Pictures. For as long as residents can remember, the housing projects of Chicago's Cabrini Green neighborhood were terrorized by a word-of-mouth ghost story about a supernatural killer with a hook for a hand. This is my hook hand. Easily summoned by those daring to repeat his name 5 times into a mirror. In the present day, a decade after the last of the Cabrini Towers were torn down, a visual artist named Anthony McCoy and his girlfriend move into a luxurious loft condo in Cabrini, which is now gentrified. The horrific nature of the true story behind the Candyman is then gradually unveiled. Now, the latest installment in the Candyman series is surprisingly stylish, while also including many callbacks to the original 1992 film. However, this time around it hints that the protagonist may in fact be getting possessed by the spirit of the Candyman as opposed to being haunted by him, which is a whole new level of fear. On top of that, actor Tony Todd, who portrayed Candyman in the original movies, is also making a grand return, which I am the most excited for. As of right now, Candyman is set to be released on August 27th, 2021. Fingers crossed. Before we jump into number 4, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps us out a lot, and it tells me that you like me. And at the end of the day, that's all I care about. Coming in at number 4, we have The Night House. Now, this is one of many films on our list that we have very little information about, but what we do know is that it sounds downright terrifying. Directed by David Bruckner and starring the likes of Rebecca Hall, who I don't particularly like, Sarah Goldberg and Bondi Curtis Hall, The Night House follows Beth, played by Hall, who is reeling from the unexpected death of her husband. She is left alone at the lakeside home that he built for her as she tries to keep herself from falling apart completely. However, she fails as her dreams start to blend into her reality, with Beth experiencing disturbing visions of a ghost in her home. But when daylight comes, the haunting is washed away. She knows it's real though, so Beth begins digging into belongings for answers, and what she discovers is both strange and terrifying, and a riddle that she is determined to solve. Now, The Night House is set to be one of the most acclaimed movies of the summer, with it already having its world premiere at the Sundance Film Festival right before the pandemic in January of 2020. Collider critic Perry Nemiroff stated, I quote, "Bruckner told the premiere crowd, your reaction will come down to what you find most frightening, the idea that ghosts exist or the realization that they don't." The statement alone rattled me. Having it on my mind during this movie chilled me to the bone. That is very, very creepy indeed. The reviews that came out of the Sundance Film Festival were incredibly favorable towards this latest horror, with many now counting down the days until its worldwide release, which is expected to come on July 16th, 2021. In at number 3, we have The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am for the latest installment in the Conjuring franchise. Directed by Michael Chavez and starring Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It is an upcoming supernatural horror and will serve as a sequel to The Conjuring and The Conjuring 2, with it also being the 8th installment in the Conjuring universe. The film is set to follow the true story of Arne Cheyenne Johnson and the murder trial that took place in Connecticut in 1981. Now, some history for you. The trial of Arne Cheyenne Johnson is the first known case in the United States in which defense claimed demonic possession, stating, "The devil made me do it." Back on November 24th, 1981, Arne Johnson was convicted of first-degree murder after killing his landlord Alan Bono. Arne ultimately was convicted and served 5 years of his 10 to 20-year sentence. It is said that a neighbor playing host to a demon forced Johnson to kill Bono, and this is when Ed and Lorraine Warren stepped in, thus garnering worldwide media attention. Now, we're all familiar with the level of scares in the Conjuring series, so we expect the same in the 3rd installment. However, I'm envisioning a very exorcism gruesome of Emily Rose's execution, with many courtroom scenes and potential flashbacks to the incident. Not to mention, this story is incredibly disturbing, so how they'll depict the murders beyond me, considering the series often plays it safe with blood and gore, aka doesn't exist. Perhaps we'll only see the murder in quick flashbacks, maybe only in talk during the trial. It's anyone's guess, but what we do know is that this film will be downright terrifying. As it stands, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It is set to be released in cinemas and video on demand in June of this year. Coming in at number 2, we have Spiral. There is little known about Darren Lynn Bousman's upcoming horror movie Spiral, but what we do know is that it is the 9th installment in the Saw film series. Starring the likes of Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson, Spiral is set to follow an esteemed police veteran and brash detective Zeke Banks, who take charge of a grisly investigation into murders that are reminiscent of the city's gruesome past. Soon, Zeke finds himself at the center of a morbid game created by the killer Jigsaw. Now, the exact timeline of this movie is unknown, but it is expected that the investigation into these murders will very much lead back to the very first Saw movie. Now, despite existing in the Saw universe, the movie isn't a sequel to Jigsaw, nor will it be a reboot of the original film. According to actor Chris Rock, the origins of Spiral came about after a meeting with the head of Lionsgate at a mutual friend's wedding, with Rock wanting to take his own career down a different avenue and into horror. Rock was the one to actually approach the company with the idea of extending the franchise, and they were very much interested, and thus development began on a brand new concept and original story inside the world of Saw. Now, despite a trailer being dropped, there is still so much we don't know about Spiral, but we are expected to get the movie on May 21st, 2021, but whether it will be delayed again due to COVID, we have no idea, but let's not get our hopes up. And finally, in at number 1, we have Last Night in Soho. Everyone is talking about Last Night in Soho, the highly anticipated psychological horror from Edgar Wright, the director known for movies such as Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and of course Baby Driver. However, he has yet to step into outright horror territory, aside from Shaun of the Dead, which was very much comedy. Starring the likes of Anya Taylor-Joy, Matt Smith, Diana Rigg, and Terrence Stamp, the film follows a young wannabe fashion designer in modern day who mysteriously enters the 1960s to encounter one of her idols. However, London in the 60s is not what it seems, and time begins to fall apart with scary consequences. Now, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there is little information known about this movie, but what we have been told is that it is said to be inspired by Roman Polanski's Repulsion and Nicholas Roeg's Don't Look Now. Two very unsettling and terrifying movies. Last Night in Soho sadly does mark the final film for two stars, Diana Rigg and Margaret Nolan, both of whom passed away last year. With COVID pushing back many films, it is said that Last Night in Soho will be released on October 22nd, 2021, after originally being scheduled for September 25th of 2020. Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with that list? Which upcoming horror movies are you looking forward to this year? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and perhaps we can do a part 2. Before I go though, I just want to respond to a few comments from one of our last videos, top 5 worst horror movie deaths. Jim Fleming said, even our Dark Queen must serve her phone. That is correct. That was the video where my kept buzzing, and then I put my phone down there, I put my phone over there, and we kept hearing it. It was everywhere. I was very popular that day. I'm very popular. I'm not. Someone texted me. My did buzz in this video. Alexis Candice Ayu said, I'm loving the animation of Lucy in the past videos. It makes me happy as well. Keep on being you, Lucy, and thanks for the great comments. I have been more animated. I think it's because I'm happy. I don't know why. Nothing's happening. Maria Carrera said, Charlie's death, I had to pause the movie and catch my breath, needed several moments for that. I completely agree. When her head met that post, it shook me to my core. But she was annoying, so she kind of deserved it. Blue Jay said, you guys are a really underrated channel. You're funny, exciting, and interesting, all of the things a channel needs to be. I love how you explain stories very clearly so that everyone can understand you. I know for a fact you're just talking about me and not Keegan, because I'm better. But thank you. We're almost at 1 mil, yay! But also Keegan's great. Angela Petta said, another great video from Queen Lucy of Darkness. I need more Queen Lucy videos. You look beautiful. Can I get a shout out? Cheers. There's your shout out. I stop here every now and then. I'm not here that often. It's just Keegan at the moment. And on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. And until next time, I'll see you later. Wow. Lungs of steel. Since giving up smoking, I can do anything. Like, breathe. It's gonna be a movie every day at this rate. Nothing came out last year. Except like Wonder Woman. What else came out? Nothing. Everything didn't happen. Nothing happened. 2020 was a disappointment. There is little known about Darren Lynn Boo's you, Darren. What the Just go back. Not you, me. Now, the exact timeline of this movie is Am I glitching? I'm glitching the Matrix right now. Okay, I won't anymore, Chris, I promise. Oh, I had a little tag sticking this whole time. Editor, I had a whole tag sticking this whole time. Look at that. No, it's like when the wash tag, the washing thing. Cover it with a blur. No, just like crop me. Zoom me in more. Please, do it. If I see that tag, we'll talk.